Hey, and welcome back to more Post to Post. It's trivia time again. We did the USA trivia. Now it's time for some Canadian trivia. You did okay in the USA one. The questions were pretty hard.
Yeah.
I have just as hard questions here for Canada. Now, we are Canadian, so you should do really well in this. You should be 10 out of 10. You should get them all right. Pressure's on. Don't let Canada down here. This is your home country.
Thanks. Thanks for making me relaxed
No
at the
problem.
beginning of this. You're not going to pull my citizenship or anything,
Maybe. All right. Are you ready? There's 10 questions here.
I am ready for whatever's coming.
Now, this video is me and you back and forth, but this is actually for you guys. For you guys to play along with at home. If you're American and you don't know a lot about Canada, we have provinces and not states. That's a little hint to some of the trivia. And hope you can play along. If you are American and you don't know a lot about Canada, don't necessarily treat this as a trivia type of video.
It's an educational
opportunity.
Yeah,
There you go.
yes, indeed.
And of course, anywhere around the world, if you're watching from Europe or wherever, you might learn a little bit more about Canada here. But as a Canadian, here we go.
Here we go.
Question number 1. What is Canada's most visited National Historic Site? I'll even make it a little easier if you can tell me just the province. But if you can tell me specifically what historic site, you get extra bragging rights.
That's tough because I know of probably most of Canada's tourist attractions generally, but those that are National Historic Sites are a little different.
And there's a lot.
There's
So-
a massive amount.
This is actually a very hard question.
I think I'll just think out loud. I'm not giving you my final answer.
Sure.
Parliament Hill would be a very common visited place. I'd be shocked if it wasn't a National Historic Site, but I'm not sure that it is. So
I think you're on the right track of thinking. I'm not sure if it is or isn't. That's not the answer.
okay,
So I'm going to give you a little hint there, a big hint.
that's a
But
big
I
hint
think
because
you're on the
I
right
probably would have
track.
guessed it.
I think you're on the right track.
Okay.
It's not like some random place. It is a tourist
Yeah.
type of spot. So that's the hint.
Oh my goodness!
I can give you another hint if you'd like.
Please,
You've been here before.
I've been to this place,
You've been to this place before.
and you know I've been there because were you witness to it?
I can't. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know if I was or not. But I know that I can say with full confidence that you've been here before.
Canada's most visited National Historic Site.
Or if you'd like to give up,
No,
that's acceptable too.
I refuse to give up. I'm going to give an answer of some kind,
All right.
even if I have low confidence in it. I'm going to say the Plains of Abraham in Quebec City.
Okay. Not a bad guess,
Okay.
but an incorrect one.
All right.
The answer is actually Halifax Citadel.
No kidding.
Yes.
It was in my top 10.
I was wondering if if you thought about it. but-
I'm very happy to hear that.
Yeah, it's cool, eh?
I knew it would be a National Historic Site, but I'm thrilled to hear that it has such
The
visitation.
most visited in Canada. Pretty cool.
That's amazing.
Yep.
I love that. That's
It's also very easily accessible, just generally
you like to climb.
while you're in Halifax. So.
yeah. The Citadel. It's right in the middle of downtown. And it's easy to get to if you don't mind going up a few little switchbacks of road. You
There
can
you
drive
go.
up to the top if you want to. And it is a fabulous place to visit.
It is. Really.
As is the Plains of Abraham, as is Parliament Hill. The Plains of Abraham, for those of you not up, is it okay if I do this little...
Educate the people.
The Plains of Abraham is where modern-day Canada was really developed because the French and the British were fighting over North America just prior to the American Revolution, actually. And the war started in the 1750s and ended in 1763, and the final battle was the British climbing up the banks from the St. Lawrence River up to the Plains of Abraham, which is near modern-day Quebec City, and defeating the French army. Both generals, Wolfe and Montcalm, were killed in the battle. So they didn't know how it ended, but it ended in favor of the British. The French eventually negotiated a surrender, which gave up all of their possessions in North America except one tiny little group of islands called St. Pierre and Miquelon, which is off the coast of Newfoundland.
Mm-hmm.
And they kept that and the fishing grounds around it, and the British got everything else until they lost it 10 or 20 years later to the most of it to the Americans.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's an interesting site as well. Parliament Hill is obvious. That's our capital. That's where our Parliament buildings are, and it's magnificent. The next couple of years will be a tough place to visit because of all the construction and renovations.
That's correct.
But a place not to be missed. Okay, enough of that bizwax.
All right, question number 2.
Question number 2.
Which city has the most restaurants per capita?
Restaurants per capita.
And it's not some random city.
It's not like Moose Jaw or something.
No, it's one of
the big cities.
the big 10 or whatever in Canada.
I'm from Montreal, and I know downtown Montreal is just absolutely polluted with restaurants, and I don't mean that in a bad way. They're just restaurants everywhere.
Okay.
But I've also spent quite a bit of time in Vancouver. There's one street corner in Vancouver where there are 3 Starbucks out of 4 corners. It's on Robson and around Granville. It's just a little bit east of that. It's crazy.
Interesting. Okay.
Maybe not now. So my answer, per capita. So for people, Montreal's a little more densely populated. I'm going to say Montreal.
The correct answer is Montreal.
Yes!
27 per 10,000 people.
Wow.
That's actually like a lot of restaurants.
That's a lot of restaurants. Holy
It's an
smokes.
insane amount of restaurants.
27. So if we had the same concentration in Charlottetown with a population of about 50,000, that would be like 130 restaurants
Yeah.
in Charlottetown. And there probably is close to that.
Yeah, that's actually no joke. There probably is.
Wow. Cool.
What is the oldest city in Canada? That's question number 3. The oldest city in Canada, and I'll give you bonus points if you can name the year.
There are many cities who will claim this.
Mm-hmm. This is the official one.
St. John, New Brunswick has claimed this because they got their charter in 1784 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But that's long after other cities were built. Montreal was founded in the early 1600s. Quebec City was too.
So at least you know it's on the east.
It's got to be in the east.
So
oh yeah,
that helps a little bit.
Halifax, it was well underway before St. John existed. But St. John keeps saying it's the oldest city. I think I've seen that in their tourism stuff. So I don't know if I believe it, but I'm going to say St. John, New Brunswick.
All right, the answer is St. John's.
St. John's, Newfoundland. Ah.
Would you like to guess the year?
Oh, sorry, the year. I'm going to say, now, city, the first settlement when they were landing their fish catch, the Portuguese, in 1604 or whatever, that probably wouldn't call it a city at that point. So it's got to be after that. But I'm going to say 1709.
1497.
What? Okay. I guess it was the Portuguese landing their fishing catch.
There you go. All
really?
right. Yep.
Okay. That'd be a Cabot, I suppose. I don't know if it'd be a city right away, but...
Well, I mean, it's it's been a settlement since then.
Bring me a witness. Bring me a witness.
Question number 4.
Number 4.
80% of the world's supply of what comes from Canada? 80% of the world's supply.
Aluminum. Bauxite.
Is that your final answer?
It would have been until you asked me
That does not mean you're wrong. I'm just...
there's some things that Canada has that other countries just don't have, and I think aluminum is one of them. I'm going to say aluminum.
Okay. That is an incorrect guess. I actually thought you'd get this right away. This is probably an easy question on your...
Great.
Maple syrup.
Dough. Of course.
You're thinking too much.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, wow. That's good. I like that.
What is Saskatchewan's official sport? That's question number 5. This is a province that a lot of Americans find difficult to pronounce. Saskatchewan.
And a lot of Canadians find difficult to spell.
Yeah. So what's their official sport?
Oh, my
Their
goodness.
official provincial sport. Canada actually has 2 provincial sports as a country, lacrosse and hockey.
Right.
I'm not saying it's different than any of those 2. I'm just saying
Oh, so
That
a province can have an official sport that is also the same
that
as
is
the
also the
nationals.
same or different.
They love their football. They hugely love their football in Saskatchewan, and they obviously love their hockey. But maybe it's something totally off the radar. Maybe it's crokinole or curling or something. Maybe it's romoli, cribbage. I'm going to say football.
I like your thought process.
Okay.
It is curling. Actually.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. Their
Good
official
stuff.
sport is curling.
Very cool.
Here, this is very interesting. Even people not from Canada are going to find this interesting. This is question number 6. What piece of major sporting equipment was invented in Canada in 1883?
The basketball net with a hole at the bottom.
That is actually a very good answer because basketball was invented in Canada.
James Naismith was the inventor.
That is the incorrect answer, though.
Okay.
This will shock you.
All right.
The baseball glove.
No.
Yep.
In Canada.
Invented in Canada.
You are a liar.
1883. I'm telling you.
Do you know the story behind it?
Nope. I know the question. I know the answer.
No kidding. I'm surprised. Very
right.
surprised.
Here's a question for our older viewers, our younger viewers. Close your ears a little bit. In 2010, a Maple Leaf Foods poll, that's a company in Canada, Maple Leaf Foods. In 2010, a Maple Leaf Foods poll said that 43% of Canadians would rather have what versus sex? So they want to have this rather than sex. What is this thing?
Maple Leaf Foods. Obviously, it's a product they make because they're trying to promote it as being the equivalent of, or even better than, the other thing. Maple Leaf makes a lot of stuff.
They make a lot of stuff.
They're like the Canadian Oscar Mayer combined with
Yeah.
everything else. Like they make processed meats, they make chicken, they do
So 43% of Canadians would prefer this over sex.
frozen cake.
That's your final answer?
Yeah.
You're incorrect. The answer is bacon.
No kidding.
All right, we're going back a lot of years here.
Oh.
For question number 8, it is between 1917 and 1921, alcohol was prohibited
Yes.
in which province?
I thought it was prohibited in them all.
Nope.
Really?
So which province?
It wasn't them all.
Nope.
Because we were trying to match up with the prohibition rules in the States. 17 to 21.
Yep.
I know for a while it was definitely prohibited in New Brunswick because there were rum runners in Northumberland Strait sneaking booze into the province. But I'd be shocked if that was the only province. I think maybe what I'm doing is I'm thinking of prohibition that was probably around in the 30s. Maybe this was an
Okay.
earlier prohibition that only affected one province, perhaps.
Could be.
I'm going to say Manitoba.
The answer is British Columbia.
That was going to be my second guess, but
Was it really?
It doesn't matter. It was only because, well, I won't get into it.
All right.
Yeah.
Question.
I have a reason for thinking that. Do you know why, or do you know?
I do not know.
Okay.
No. I'm not an education
Yeah.
machine. I'm just a monkey
Yeah.
who reads stuff.
Huh.
Question number 9. This is going to be actually, I think, a little tough for you, but you might get it right away. It might be one of those random facts that you just know. I think you'll get one of them. 2-part question.
2 parts.
What are Canada's most northern and southern towns named?
What qualifies as a town? That is the question. Because,
I think you'll get the northern one.
like, we have a presence in a place called Alert, which is a military base, an observation base, but I wouldn't call it a town. We have a place called Eureka, which is a community of a few hundred people, but I wouldn't call it a town.
Both qualify.
Both qualify as
Any
town.
place where someone is living for an extended period of time.
Okay, I'm going to say Alert.
That is correct. Now the most southern.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be in Ontario.
That's
It's
correct.
going to be in the Lake Erie area.
That's correct.
We have Point Pelee. We have Pelee Island. I don't know if Point Pelee is just a geographical location and there's actually people there. I don't know if anyone lives in Pelee Island, so I'm going to say Point Pelee.
You are incorrect. It's actually Kingsville, which is basically right next to it.
Okay.
So you're in the right, obviously, area, but
Cool.
that was the easy part. But there's a lot of little
Yeah.
towns around.
No, that's
there,
good to know. I
That'll be a trivia question 7 years down the road at some event that you're at. and
Yeah.
you'll be like, boom,
I'll be like, hey,
Kingsville.
Kingsville.
All right, the last question. The first city in the world to develop emergency 911 calls was what Canadian city?
Seriously?
Yep.
I think it's going to be a city that developed it because of American influence, because maybe they started it. And it's going to be a city that's really close to the American equivalent.
Okay.
And I'm thinking, what Canadian city is closest to the what American city? And Detroit and Windsor are right across the river from each other. And people in Windsor would be exposed to a lot of Detroit media, and Detroit would maybe be promoting something like that, and Windsor would say, we better get on board with that because people over here are going to think that's the thing to do, and if they do it and it doesn't work, then it won't work, so the fire truck won't come, and I'm going to say Windsor.
Good thought process. You are wrong.
Okay.
It is Winnipeg.
Really?
Yep.
For all kinds of reasons that have nothing to do with my reasons. Really?
Yeah, I'm not sure why, but yeah.
Well, I do know I've stayed in Winnipeg many times, and I've never gotten a good night's sleep in Winnipeg because there's just constant sirens all the time in downtown Winnipeg. I'm just saying.
There you go.
It makes sense now because they invented 911 and everyone's using it all the time.
Exactly.
911, 911.
All right, that wraps it up.
That was
Thank you.
fun. I enjoyed that. Those are very good questions.
You got, I think, 2 or 3, right?
2 or 3.
They were hard. They're very hard.
They
very
were hard.
specific.
I learned a lot about my own country.
There you go.
So that's great.
I hope you guys learned something too. Let us know down in the comments how you did. And let us know down in the comments suggestions for future trivia. And we hope you like this style of video. It's a lot of fun for us to do because we love trivia. So if you did like it, please hit the like button down below. Subscribe if you're new. And we'll see you in the next one. Adios.